Welcome back to Aggressive E. Oh my gosh. It's been a while. How you been? You been good? You been good? Yeah, right, Pro. Boom. There it is. The Suron killer. It is hands down a light B killer. Let's get into it. Just feel the rage that's burning up inside me. The E-Ride Pro, oh my gosh, this thing out of the box is a little beast. I wish this was around when we bought our Surons because this thing is a full-on light B killer. It is mad. 12 kilowatt is, it's exactly what the Suron needed to literally come out of the box factory, and that's what E-Ride have done. They've got a good motor, they've got a good battery, and they've got an all right controller. But we did straight away slap an eBMX X9000 on there because you got it. It's something you got to do because you can now pull up to 15 kilowatts out of this puppy and actually have good throttle control, responsiveness, LCD display. Who doesn't want a little LCD XW102? You know, who doesn't want that? Ooh, 102 SW, yeah, I should know what that thing's called, but I don't. I keep forgetting. It's SW102 or something rather. Who doesn't want a bit of regen brake or what's that? Did someone say E-clutch? E-clutch, that's a thing? E-clutch. That is a thing. It's cool. If you're an enduro guy, it's cool. You can put on a lever or you can use the thummy bad boy and thumb to your heart's content, if you know what I mean. But as the bike comes straight out of the box, this thing is literally the dream. Out of the box, it's an upgraded battery and a BAC with a better motor. This motor can handle a lot more than what the Suron motor can. The Suron motor used to overheat like no tomorrows. Like the light B motor, like if you were pushing 15 kilowatt through the light B motor, it did it for like maybe a little bit of riding and then it would immediately start like throttling down. That BAC straight away started throttling down. And even when you put an eBMX controller on it, you just burnt it out. Like we were just able to burn it out like that. So when you start pushing too much power into it, but yeah, once you get like to 15 kilowatts, it just overheats all the time, 24/7, right? It's not so bad if you're in a freezing cold environment, the light B, but it's still, it's nothing like this thing. This motor is actually a good motor. QS make this motor and they've actually done a pretty good job. It's a good motor. The battery, being able to actually deliver 15 kilowatts of power is, man, you got to give it to E-Ride. It's a stock bike. It's a stock bike. You put a controller on it, bang, 15 kilowatts. Like that is the dream. That is so mad. It's not funny, right? So my next thing to do with this thing is to put wheels on it. You got to put wheels on it. That's a given. The 1919s, it's fun as a mountain bike. It's actually still really enjoyable when you ride it like a BMX type situation. But the second you want to actually do moto with this thing, you got to sort of have 1821s. But I think I want to like make this thing into like a bit of a pit bike, right? Take it back a step. Take it back to, you know, the old Suron days, the fun factor Suron days, where this thing, for me, was at its funnest, was 1619s. I had a blast on 1619s. It was just fun. It felt right to me. 1821s is like, okay, I now got to put proper suspension on this thing because I want it to handle. And then I'm actually got like a little mini moto and I can rip enduro and go ham, right? You know, you're not going to be doing like 70-foot jumps on this thing. As we all know, that's not what the light B's for by any means. But once you do that, you've got yourself a sweet little like block bashing enduro bike, which is what we turned our light B's into. But that is literally throwing 10 grand on top of the bike. Like that's just what it is. You're throwing 10 grand on top of the bike and not everyone wants to do that. Me personally, I don't want to do it again, right? This thing out of the box is an ultimate shredder. To come out of the box with 12 kilowatts, it's just mad. It's awesome. The first thing you'll notice is the frame. The frame is actually so much beefier than a light B frame. Like just the hunk around the neck and then continuing through the actual body of the bike, it's actually just all so much more beefier. Even the swing arm looks sick and more beefy. The only thing that pointed out to me straight away just by swinging a spanner on this thing was the assembly. I don't think is so great. So I undid these 2 bolts. They had Loctite on them, nice and tight. These 2 bolts on this side didn't have Loctite on them, weren't really that tight, right? So the assembly, if it was me and you just bought an E-Ride, I'd probably go over it with a spanner, right? Just check all your bolts, make sure everything's tight, maybe Loctite a few things, right? But other than that, that was really the only downside I saw. This thing actually has stiff suspension. That is a plus. You buy a Light B and it literally just feels like a mountain bike. It feels like a 60 kilo mountain bike. The suspensions just roll straight away. This thing actually is firm. I wouldn't say the suspension works by any means. It doesn't actually have proper dampening or anything, but it's actually firm. It actually holds itself off the ground, which is really good. And I mean, a Light B out of the box only comes with 5 kilowatt, right? It's nothing to write home about. It might be a bit more than that now. It might be 6, 7, right? So it's a lot slower bike, and it's literally the same price, if not a little bit more, depending on who you buy from, where you buy from, etc. Bang for buck in 2024. What bike would you buy? Be a Light B, man. It'd be a Light B. No, I'm kidding. E-Ride. E-Ride. That's the bike you'd buy in 2024. It is hands down a Light B killer. It's still technically the same bike. Things like the linkages, they're still cheap. Same size bolts, the jack shaft, swing arm bolt, it's all the exact same. The bearings and all that, it's all the exact same. So all the stuff that breaks on the Light B drivetrain wise will definitely still break on this, right? It's just a given. But I think this frame and this whole chassis is going to handle it a lot better. It is beef. It's good. Little subtle things I like there's no cutout in the actual plastic cover. I really actually like that. At first I was like, oh, there's no cutout, so you can't, actually see your battery indicator. I'm like, that's a bit annoying. But it actually comes with a display that shows you your battery percentage anyway. I like that there's no cutout. It's very clean. But if you wanted to be able to access your battery indicator, you cut that out yourself. So I like that they've done that. It looks very clean. Even simple stuff like the E-Ride sticker. It's not in your face, doesn't look ridiculous. It's just a nice black badge. Props, E-Ride. This thing's just a shredder out of the box. As you can see, we did put a YSS shock in the rear. And this is me trying to get it a bit softer because that's a 100 power spring and we need more like a 75 or maybe a little less. It's a little. But that actually bolts in there. So we found that quite interesting. You can't really adjust your clickers, but you can undo these 4 bolts, which is your subframe, swing your subframe up, then you can adjust your clickers, swing it back down. It's actually not too hard. I was like, yeah, that's not too hard. The other thing I want to try is maybe flipping the shock around the other way, which I think would actually work really well. So that's the thing. The YSS shock does bolt straight in. Whether we got less travel, I don't think so. I don't believe so. I think it's still pretty good. It might have less travel. It might not actually touch the guard, but we'd have to actually take the spring off and have a look at that. Little silly things as well, like here, very 2024-esque. It has USB-C? Like, what? USB-C? That's a thing on a moto and 3.0 USB? The props to E-Ride for that. That is definitely kind of cool. So there's our opinions on the E-Ride Pro. It is an awesome bike, straight out of the box, 12 kilowatt, can't stress it enough. That's what we needed. Literally, the first thing you did when you got your bike is straight away upgrade it because there was never enough power. This thing has enough power out of the box, which is freaking awesome. But yeah, be awesome if you liked it and cool if you subscribed, and we'll see you in the next one.